Okay, in our next animation segment, we're going to take a look at doing or applying more than one motion. So in the first animated sequence, all we did was move a circle from one side of the stage to the other. This time we'll take an object that's a little bit oddly shaped and not only move it from the left side to the right side, but also rotate it as we're going. Now, I've selected the pencil tool from the toolbox. And when I select a tool, it gives me some options at the bottom of the toolbox here. So right now it's saying that if I draw with this, it's going to give me hard edges even though I've drawn a curve there. So it kind of squares it off for me. So I'm going to undo that, Command Z. And I'm going to change its mode so that rather than having straight edges, it's going to have more smoothed out edges. So I'm going to kind of draw like a propeller kind of shape. So there's some petals of the propeller, and it's sort of blobby looking. So there we go. And I'm just going to fill that with a color. So my color is orange right now. Let's choose green and get our paint bucket and fill that in. Okay, so there we've got a shape for us to use. And we'll use the same process as the last lesson. So I'm going to click on the next frame over and hit F6. And we'll take our selection tool, we'll move it over a little bit, and we're going to add in a transformation. So I'm going to get my transform tool and hover outside one of the corners, and you can see here how when I hover we get an arced circle, and that arc means that we can now rotate. And just based on the onion skinning that was in there, we've rotated a little bit, and we'll hit F6 and repeat this process. So move and rotate, F6, move and rotate, F6, move and rotate, and we're just sort of getting it to spin as we move here. And sorry, I should be talking a little bit more here, but we're just continuing that process. Oops. Make sure everything is selected there. I'll just tell you what I did there, and actually it's a good mistake to have. I had clicked off the object, and one of the things that I actually don't really like about Flash is that it sees the stroke, which is the outline, and the fill as separate. So we'll just click off here so nothing's selected. Click on that object, and you can see this dotted pattern shows you what's selected. Okay. Now if I click on the outline is selected. So if I just click once, it selects whatever I've clicked on. If I double click, it selects both the fill and the stroke. Okay, and another way around that is to click on the cell on the timeline. So if I click on that, it selects both the fill and the stroke together. Okay, and just scrubbing, you can see there that not only is it moving from the left side to the right side, but it's also rotating. And it's rotating around this center point. That center point won't show up if we were to create our shockwave file. It's a visual for us to know where the rotation is. But I could get it to rotate about the bottom instead, so when I rotate here, rather than going around the center, it's going around that point near the bottom. Okay, so that's just for your own information. Alright, and we'll do a command return and see what that looks like. Okay, so there it goes across the stage. And that's it for lesson 3. You can go on to